Impromptu. Hashtag Small Business Week, with my good friend Toni Purry of My Hype Book and Purry Communications. Toni was unable to join us for our originally scheduled Small Business Week chat on Monday due to technical difficulties, and those things happen. But I just called her impromptu and I said, I'm in a mode. I'm in a live mode. Are you in a live mode? And she said, yes, I am. So here we are. I can't wait for you to meet Toni and talk about confidence building and all the pitfalls, whether you are in the communications business, whether you are a creator, whether you are a manufacturer, whatever your business is, and you are in a business that is 1 to 500 people strong. You as the leader are always going to feel that responsibility. Toni's going to talk about that and talk about the weight of the responsibility and how sometimes that can be energizing and sometimes it can be debilitating. And she had a bit of an aha moment and around her own business and around being a perfectionist and just an amazing businesswoman. And she kind of switched paths because that's okay to do. It's totally okay to do. And she did it beautifully, and I can't wait for you to hear about it. One of the reasons I wanted Toni to talk about it is because I do think that everything that she's gone through are things that we can all empathize with. It resonates with everybody, regardless of where you are in your business. And I also love that she is using social media and digital platforms like Kickstarter to kickstart her next adventure. So without further ado, I give you Toni Purry.
Hello there. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. I just love that you said yes to just jumping right in. So for anybody who's seeing this, this takes a little while for Facebook to kick in and let everybody know that we're live. Feel free to leave your comments. Feel free to ask questions, chime in. The more the merrier. There you go. Toni.
Yes.
You and I first met at UCLA.
I sure did. That was when I first moved to LA.
I can't believe it, in a PR class. And we both sort of looked around at everybody. We were snarky a little bit privately.
I know.
Right? Like, why are we in this class? Because we don't do this all the time. And
but it's kind of cool that both of us, being pretty seasoned in our career, still felt the need to let's go and see what's happening. And I think that's important.
Right. I mean, we don't have all the answers, and it was exactly that. What don't we know?
Right. There wasn't much there, but it was still, we got a chance to meet each other.
It's true. It's true. I also actually remember meeting a young woman who, interestingly enough, do you remember she was here from China? And she was, the government had sanctioned her being here, okay, and was interested in having her learn more about Western style communications, PR, et cetera. And I thought that was fascinating at the time.
That's good. That's so cool. I don't remember her, but that's good. Are you still in touch with her?
No, I have no idea what her name was even. No.
Oh. Okay.
But I thought it was pretty fascinating at the time. I loved her. Toni, tell us a little bit, tell for the folks at home, because I know your story, but would you tell us a little bit about your agency and your aha moment and My Hype Book, and we'll start to dig in a little bit.
Okay, so for 10 years, I have run a lifestyle PR agency. And our clients are mostly in the lion's share of our clients in hospitality, tourism. We represented everything from restaurants to spas to destinations, hotels. We pretty much represented all the big box hotels, Hyatt, Marriott, Intercontinental, Hilton. So a lot of really fun, light, PR. It was a great time, and had the agency for 10 years. Really started to scale back last year. And I had a fun team and a really, really exciting roster of clients. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being as fun as it was initially. Maybe around year 7 or so, I just, things shifted, and it was hard for me to wrap myself around that shift.
And we did some work together around that time.
That's right. We sure did. You were gracious enough to come on and to do a really fun project. As a matter of fact, that was a great project because we did a social media guide for a university, which was really, kind of cool because schools were now starting to get into embracing, social media. And that was a really fun project.
And they needed guidance.
Yeah, they did. So that all the departments could run their own and be effective and have some guidelines. Yeah. So that was really exciting.
I loved it.
Me too. So in the process of realizing that I wasn't quite enjoying the journey of PR anymore, I really sort of happened upon this new path. And we can talk a little bit more about how I got there, but it was really kind of a painstaking journey, if I'm to be very honest. And I think it's just the normal things that you experience as an entrepreneur, the challenges with financing, the challenges with employees and a team and clients and all of those things. But when you aren't quite loving what you're doing anymore, it can, really be challenging. Even more so, and take a serious toll on you. And that's one of the things that happened to me.
So I know that you and I talked privately about some of the maybe more than one aha moment around this transition of yours. And I loved when you talked about a moment with your accountant. It's funny because we just talked with my accountant earlier today. I feel like he's also a therapist.
They have to wear those multiple hats.
But love him to bits. But I know that you had talked with your accountant on a number of occasions, and she had you had a funny story. I'll let you tell the story of when she looked at you and said,
I know. It was, so I started the agency in 2007. So that was right before the recession. And everybody thought, you're crazy. What do you mean you're starting an agency? And honestly, recession meant nothing to me. I thought, recession smession, we'll be fine. I want to do this and I'm going to start this agency and just going for it. And I had decided in my first year, I'm going to make $1 million because that's what successful businesses do, according to, I don't know who, but for some reason.
You read it somewhere.
I read it somewhere. That is the thought. So I decided that's what I was going to do. And about 18 months in, I am literally sitting at my desk having a mini meltdown, and my accountant calls, and she's a good friend of mine also. She was doing the controlling for the company. She called and she said, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And I said I was going to make $1 million in the first year, and we're 18 months in and I haven't done it. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. And she is really just kind of pausing, and she said, are you kidding me? Are you serious? And I'm like, yes, I am. I shouldn't have done this. I should have listened to everybody else that said, don't start a business. And she laughed at me. And I thought, are you kidding me? Are you?
I laughed when you told me the other day.
I know it. I'm like, are you laughing at me? And she said, yes. And I said, how could you laugh at me? This is really, serious. I am really devastated here. She said, you are 18 months in. You have a thriving agency in the middle of a recession. You are just shy of almost $500,000 in, revenue. You have a great team of really talented people that love what they're doing. You've got these great clients, and people are laying off in droves, and they are cutting their PR and marketing budgets, by, hugely. And you're crying that you didn't make $1 million. Are you kidding me? She said, her words, I kid you not, slow your roll, Oprah.
I have to say, and I met your accountant in the past,
oh my gosh.
I want that to be a mantra. Slow your roll, Oprah.
Slow your roll, Oprah. And quite honestly, at the time, I was still mad at her. I thought, you don't get it. You just don't get it. And I hung up on her, and she, of course, didn't even pay attention to me. And it was a bone of contention between us for years, because I'd say, you had no compassion when I was having a major meltdown, and she'd go, oh, whatever. She just, because as a controller, she knew the reality is we were doing very well. But I think as entrepreneurs, we set such high goals for ourselves, and then we don't take the time to celebrate when we actually, maybe we didn't make the goal, but how far we actually got, and the things we learned in the process, and how much we gained and have grown in the process. Right. And so I was a victim of that. I was doing that to myself. I was beating myself up because I wasn't reaching these goals that really I can look back and say they weren't exactly reasonable, not impossible, but I should not have been beating myself up. And it really wasn't until last year that I could actually look back and see what she was saying. And,
and we've talked about this privately, but for the folks at home, I never really even talk about this publicly still, is that when I closed my e-commerce business, it was entirely because of the recession.
Yeah.
It was doing very well. I had marketing and PR coverage in places that had never covered businesses like mine. Mm-hmm. I had people ripping me off. So there were, cease and desist letters going out all the time. Mm-hmm. And when I had a couple of aha moments about when it was time to close that business. Okay. And it was sorry. I'm looking to make sure that there are not comments coming in for us. Okay. So when I decided to close that business, it literally felt like a death.
Yeah.
It literally felt like a death. Now, I ended up having somebody buy the business from me. And unfortunately, my intention at the time was, you know what? I've learned a lot here. I did a lot of that self-talk that you're just talking about. I learned a lot here. Oh my goodness. And look what I created from nothing. I created practically a whole new category. I mean, it was unbelievable. And sometimes you're a little too early in, there's also that. But I didn't, I thought I'll sell this and I will take pride in knowing that the timing of it for the new owner, they'll be able to take it to a new place.
Sure.
And I will enjoy watching that,
Right.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the way it went. They kind of destroyed it. And I don't even tell people what the URL is anymore. Yeah. It went the exact opposite way. So that just sort of added salt to the wound, because I couldn't use it as to say, look at what I did here. But it took me a very, very long time to come to terms with the fact that I had learned a lot, that I had created something special, just as you did with Purry Communications, that I did it in, against all odds. And not everything is forever, and you move on. But it was difficult because I had to give myself permission to shut it.
Yeah, that's it.
Permission.
That's it. Well, and then we have this emotional attachment to our businesses as well as as entrepreneurs. We become so invested in it. There is a love for what we're doing. There is an excitement. It feeds us. And when you realize that it's either time to do something different, time to walk away, time to close it, time to sell it, it's hard. You mourn that departure. You mourn, what did. Yeah. And that's a very normal thing. And so.
But nobody tells you that that's normal. That's the thing. Nobody tells you that all of that is perfectly normal and a potential trajectory if you start a business that you start from a passion and a love and nobody tells you, and
they don't tell you it's okay to want to shift gears, or at least I will say, I think there are people that tell, and I think it's okay more so now. But
Yes.
I didn't even tell anybody that I don't love this anymore. This isn't feeding me anymore. I'm not finding joy in this anymore. I suffered in silence for a long time.
And that's not okay. And that's why we're having this conversation today, because small business owners in particular, I think, are at the greatest risk for
sure.
that kind of, people, as I said early on, the weight of it can be debilitating.
Right.
And it's just a part of owning a business, and you move on. And I will always know that going forward. And I've shared that with people. I want to share one piece of information around this that a former producer of mine back in the day had said to me, when you run out, every small business, whether you are a theater production, whether you're a startup, whether you're, whatever it is, any project like that will have a limited amount of capital. And you will run out of capital. I remember her saying this to me. It wasn't if you run out of capital. She said, when you run out of capital, you better make sure that you have enough emotional capital in your reserves.
Right.
And I remember going,
Emotional capital. That's so good.
Capital. And I have a chill even now, because I remember sitting, maybe not in this exact spot, maybe it was over there. But I remember her words just ringing in my ears as I was making the decision to close that business.
Yeah.
You had your aha moment, but it was those words from her. And I went, I don't have any emotional capital left. Because I had people coming in right about this time saying, we would like to give you X amount of money. We'd like to, but it didn't matter. Even if the bank coffers were refilled and replenished, I didn't have anything left emotionally. I was done. That's
where I was. That's where I got, and it'd been 10 years for me, so you get there, but deciding not to do it anymore, deciding that this isn't what you want to do, that this isn't bringing you the kind of fulfillment that you once gained from it. It feels like, for some reason, it feels like a failure. I felt like if I decide that I don't want to do this, especially because I didn't have any plans for what I wanted to do next.
Yeah.
It's one thing to walk away from a business when you've got these other great plans. Right. But I felt like that's a loser move. Who walks away from a business that, has done well? We've won, over 50 awards for our work. We had, still had great clients, but I just wasn't invested anymore.
And there's nothing, I want to say this so loud so that everybody hears it, whether they're watching now and just lurking and not engaging. But please, everybody, share your thoughts if you're lurking. That there's nothing loserish about making a decision.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Yeah. In fact, I've shared this with you as well. During that same era, there was a senior executive who worked with one of the vendors that I was working with. And when I said to him, I'm going to close my business, I remember very clearly, he said, congratulations. I was like, what? And he said, no, congratulations. You made a decision.
I knew that's
you already went through the worst part. And the minute I heard it, I went, oh my God, he was right. I went through the worst of it.
Right.
The negative, the hating in my head. And I want you to talk about the haters in your head. I had a million haters in my head. Yeah. Right? And the minute I made the decision, the haters went away. I was like, decision. I'm in control here.
Exactly. I remember when I made the decision to move out of we had a beautiful creative office space.
You did. I loved it.
I know. It was so cool. It was just so.
You still have that table?
I still have the table, the magic table.
I know.
Magic table. Sold a lot of things, but held on to the magic table. But moving out, we had beautiful, you remember we had those beautiful quotes on the wall, and we had them placed on there like in a museum. And when I decided, it was, I should have decided to move out of the office sooner, because what had happened, because the industry shifted so much. Mm-hmm. And also I had transitioned all of my employees that were full-time and had been with me for a couple of 2 years. As they transitioned out, found other jobs, I was replacing them with contract employees, but I wasn't doing it on purpose. It was, something that Well, it wasn't even that. It was just, I knew somebody that did contract work, and I thought, well, let me just bring her in and she can step right in and take over where this one left off. And so then I realized, well, I don't really need an office because everybody can work remotely, even though a lot of people love to come in the office and still work. But I didn't have to have it. And our clients rarely came to the office. They wanted us to come to them. So it really didn't make any sense for me to continue to keep that overhead. But making this decision to move out of the office.
Yes.
And that last day that I was there, waited to the last day to take the quotes off the wall, peeling those letters off the wall, one letter at a time. Oh, that was gut wrenching. I mean, it was so hard because it was the end of, that era. But when I started working from home, there was this new freedom that I found and discovered, and much more flexible time schedule. And, there was, I would not have imagined I would have found this much joy on the other side. But, I kind of felt like I pushed myself over the edge or plunged myself, threw myself over the edge. And when I got there, well, this isn't, bad at all. It actually works. I didn't have the pressure of all that it takes to run an office and to manage an office.
You went through it. You didn't go around it. You didn't go under it. You went through it, and you arrived as you were going through it, you saw a Muhammad Ali quote. Now we're going to get even into more good stuff.
Right.
A Muhammad Ali quote as you were going through this. And that's what got you to the other side.
Yes. So because of all of that, all of those things that entrepreneurs go through, it can take a toll on your confidence, and it took a major toll on mine. So my confidence was at an all-time low, and I'm one of those people that don't really struggle a lot with confidence, but I'm sort of an internal optimist, but I was really in a bad way. And I happened across a Muhammad Ali clip. My husband was watching him, and I became so captivated by his confidence. I just wondered, how in the world did he maintain his confidence even in the face of defeat? Even when he was stricken with Parkinson's disease and he couldn't speak, he still exuded all of this confidence. Mm-hmm. Then a few minutes later, I saw Boondini Brown, his cornerman, his hype man, before he was going into a fight. And he was standing face to face with Ali, and he was ardently yelling, reminding him of all of his victories and reminding him that he was the champ and that, he was the greatest. And I thought, well, if we all had a hype man walking behind us, reminding us of our successes, we'd have that confidence forever as well. So in that moment, I thought, I need to make myself a hype book. So what I did was I sat down in the middle of my living room floor, and I started writing out all of my achievements, the things that made me really proud from launching my PR agency without any entrepreneurial experience, the awards that we had won, even the employees that had worked through my company, and some of the amazing things that I hired right out of college and some of the amazing things that they were doing. That made me really proud. The pro bono work that we did through the agency, running the LA Marathon. I mean, I just went into all sorts of detail. Within 2 days and 20 pages of doing that, there was this ascension of confidence, this restoration of hope and excitement. And all I could think of is, what are you so down about? You have all of this to build on. And so a really good friend of mine, Kimberly, texted me during that time and asked, what are you doing? And I said, I'm making myself a hype book. And she said, what's a hype book? And I said, it's when you write about all of your successes and your achievements, you have to do it. And she said, that's a great idea, Toni. And I said, I know you have to do it. She said, everybody needs one. I said, I know you have to do it. She said, no, Toni, everybody needs one. And I thought, oh, yes. Right. So it was the beginning of this new journey of creating a guided motivational journal that can be used by anyone. But I especially think it's great for entrepreneurs because we can be so very hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
and so critical of ourselves, and we are so driven and on to the next success that we don't always stop to celebrate our victories and what we've accomplished.
And there are so many.
And there are so many things, no matter the size.
They can be little things.
Little things.
You know,
like having a very tough conversation with somebody.
I was just going to say that. Like, I finally figured out how to work with colleague ABC.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's nothing that's ever going to make the news.
No, but it's certainly
victory.
Right. Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So the book does that. It walks you through these processes of taking some time to really look at your qualities and your attributes, your successes, the gifts and talents that you have, and acknowledging those things, and also acknowledging the things that you've overcome. There's one section that is called the overcomer section. I'm an overcomer, because I don't think we stop to realize how much we've actually overcome, how much we actually accomplish because of the things that we overcome, the challenges, if it was a critical, teacher from grade school, or a judgmental relative, or, just cancer, something major. We overcome a lot, and we're stronger because of it. And when we see ourselves as that overcomer, I think we walk in a greater confidence.
I love that term, the overcomer. I really do, because it's so obvious.
Right.
Right. We don't need to explain it, really. It's the overcomer. And you know who talks a lot about the overcomer, but in slightly different language, is Sheryl Sandberg.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about it. Hers is plan, her option B. And she also, because of a dear friend, went, we're going to kick the shit out of option B.
Right.
But that's an overcoming kind of
attitude.
Attitude, yes. And, there's also a chapter, by the way, in her book, Lean In, where there was, I believe, a colleague. It's been a long time since I read it, but I believe there was a colleague of hers at Facebook who I think maybe had a troubled pregnancy and was working from home, but she didn't want anybody to know that, this was the case. And she didn't want her team to think that she was not strong enough emotionally to carry on. And those, again, are things that we put on ourselves. And it's like, you know what? Here's but the real story is, oh my God, you're going through something and you're still managing your team.
Exactly. That's right. And that's the thing. It's about perspective. It's about perspective. Doing the book for myself helped to change my perspective about myself. And I think we can be our worst critic, but I think we can also be our greatest advocate if we allow ourselves to really pat ourselves on the back, celebrate ourselves, acknowledge our accomplishments and our achievements. And that is what My Hype Book is. So it's essentially, it becomes almost a legacy book. When you look back at the things that you've accomplished, when you look at the opportunity of seeing yourself through your success lens, you can't help but walk a little taller, feel a little better about yourself, go into that next challenge with a greater sense of confidence, because you look at all that you've been able to overcome and accomplish. So,
I love this, Toni. So I want to just segue real quickly, because we're a little after 12:30 and I don't want to take up all of your afternoon. But so we've heard about your past and how you transitioned into a new chapter with My Hype Book. What that is, I love that it's a legacy book. I love this. It's a legacy book. Overcomers. We're going to talk about overcomers forever now. And I'd love for you to talk about the social and digital aspect to this. If you guys are just joining us, My Hype Book, you can look it up online, myhypebook.com. Toni has a Kickstarter that she's using to get this book out into the wild. So I love that component of it. And if you would talk to us a little bit about how can we all support My Hype Book so we can all have one, and we can have our own legacy books, and we can be our own hype man.
Yes, that's the key. Be your own hype man. Honestly, the book is, I truly believe that that we can be our greatest natural source of inspiration. I honestly believe that, because only we know what we've overcome. Only we know what it takes for us to achieve the things that we want to, and the things that we have. And so as a part of this new journey, I decided, this book was great for me. The process was great for me. But maybe it was just for me, let me test the market and see if there really is a need for something like this before going the traditional route of, looking for a literary agent or even self-publishing through a self-publishing company. What I did instead was I thought, I'm going to go the digital route, and I'm going to launch a Kickstarter campaign and let that be the way we test the market. And I have to say, I've got a wonderful, wonderful social media person that's supporting me through all of this. Her name is Shayna Marks with Citrine Marketing, and she is phenomenal. She's been doing a really great job in helping me get the word out there. She's a small business, but she is wildly successful. And so we've been working hand in tandem to use Kickstarter to launch the campaign. We've been on, I think, for 11 days now, and we're over 60% of our goal. So, and we're 30 days, we have 30 days to reach the goal, but you can, anybody can go to myhypebook.com and yes, click, perfect. You can click on that link and that will take you to the Kickstarter campaign. And you can look through the campaign there and see a little bit more about what the book is about. And I will say the book is divided into three sections. The first section is those practices that I mentioned earlier that really help you hone in on your talents and your skills and your qualities. The second half is divided into 6 journaling categories. So you can be really specific about your journaling. It's divided by major milestones, significant victories, health and wellness achievements, because that's important, good and charitable deeds, life adventures, and then lessons learned, because everything doesn't go exactly the way we want it to. But how do we extrapolate the lesson that we've learned from there? And
Rock. Hello, Rock. Hi.
Rock's
question.
What is your hope for people who get the book? My hope is that they will have a major shift in their perspective about themselves, realizing their full potential, realizing that they have so many gifts and qualities and talents that only they can determine. It is a very empowering process. Mm-hmm. It certainly is a confidence booster when you can look back and you see what you've accomplished overall. Mm-hmm. And those things that are meaningful to you, not according to what, the popular entrepreneur magazines say, but really according to you, what's important to you. And so my hope is that it becomes a treasure, a legacy book that you look back and you say, wow, this is what I've accomplished. I've had a few friends to say, I can't wait to finish mine so that then I can share that with my kids. How great would it be for my kids to see this book years from now and to see what mom or dad accomplished. But the other thing is the middle section is reflecting. So it's important that in the book, you not only track your success, but then you reflect on it, and also you celebrate it. You make a moment of those accomplishments, whatever they are, whether it's, I decided I am going to, take a big vacation to reward myself, or just have a glass of my favorite wine, or do a happy dance in my kitchen, Right. However, you find a way to commemorate that for yourself. And, I have to also say the book is beautiful. It's really beautiful.
It is. I've seen it, you guys. You should really go to, here, we'll just say it again. Go to myhypebook.com. Yes. You can link to Kickstarter there. You'll see Toni's beautiful promotional video, which takes you through the journey of, leaving one business, going through the middle path until you get to the other side.
Middle passage.
passage. Yeah, we're not going to call it dark. It's just a middle passage, and came out into the light on the other side with this new idea. And that's a process that we all go through and shouldn't be afraid of.
It is. The book, it's a gorgeous book because I want it to feel like a legacy book. I asked one of my good friends who's an amazing creative director, Joanna Holden of Modular Inc. She designed the pants off of this book. I mean, it is so gorgeous. She really put her heart into it. I mean, I had all of my design concepts. What I love about her is she took the design concepts that I had, you know, the ones that I kind of scratched together, and just elevated them. And she even brought more to the book because she was reading it through her perspective, and she'd highlight things that I hadn't thought about. So it's exciting to see. This is our little this was our little prototype that we used just for shooting the book.
Hold it up again.
Oh, there it is.
Here, there it is, everybody. Here, I'm gonna do a screenshot. There we go.
There you go. So it is 8.5 by 8.5, and the pages are quality. This is, you can see a little bit.
Ooh, we're starting to, Toni, we're getting a little bit of a buggy audio, but hold on, hold that up again. Hold it up for us.
Want me to hold it up?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna hide your name. Hold it up once more. There we go.
Here we go.
Good.
Okay. But yeah, Joanna did a great job on the book, and I got a chance to see a picture of the cover the other day, and it's so yummy. I can't wait to get it into the hands of all of our backers.
I'm so glad, because I can't wait to get mine. I kickstarted. Rock has a question again. Hi again, Rock. Do you feel a lack of confidence affects a person's personal and professional life? I'm going to go ahead and just say yes.
I know, 100%. It really does. You don't realize it. We think we can wear the mask, but how you're feeling on the inside has a way of projecting through. And what happens is people end up treating you the way you are projecting yourself. Yeah. And they can see it. And so I never realized my confidence was a vulnerable thing. Now I understand it is something that I have to nurture. It's something that I have to manage. It's something that I have to take care of, because
it's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
You got to muscle and work out your confidence muscle.
Right. And I'm not talking about bravado.
No, you go to the confidence gym.
Exactly. I'm not talking about bravado. I'm not talking about that, fake it till you make it thing. I'm talking about where you are really able to draw a sense of pride, knowing the things that you've accomplished. That is something that, can't be shaken. It can't be taken from you. Somebody else can't walk in with a bigger, better and make you feel small, because you just have a knower about what you've done. And I love that.
And some of that, to be honest, comes with time.
Oh, for sure.
Comes with life experience. But if you know that is not an unusual journey to be on, then when you arrive there, it will be easier to have a moment and go, this is okay. And now I need to work my confidence muscle.
Right.
Until it becomes a reflex.
And it does. It will. I think some people have it very naturally. I was talking to my dad, I remember one day, and about the book actually early on. And he is, he's been the vice president of many colleges over the business and finance, area. And so he's a man of confidence. And I remember telling him about the book and saying, confidence can be vulnerable. And he said, absolutely. Yeah. And for him, a person who I've always seen to have the utmost confidence, I was shocked to hear him say that it can be vulnerable. Yeah. That even to him.
Right. And conversely, and this is very Buddhist, I'm not a practicing Buddhist, but I believe that this is accurate. Somebody feel free to tell me I'm wrong, but the flip side of that is that vulnerability is not weakness.
Right. Exactly.
It's exactly the flip,
Right.
images of each other.
That's true. But because we think it's weakness,
Yeah.
then we allow it to beat us down, and it really shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't. Toni, we're at 12:45.
Okay.
And I love you. And I love that you impromptu said, yes, let's talk about my hype book from
Absolutely. After we couldn't get connected technically on Monday, I was like,
Okay.
you just tell me when and I'll be here.
It was okay. I wanted to give the folks at home a chance to learn more about the Kickstarter and my hype book so that they can all have their legacy book and exercise their confidence muscles. I think it's so important for small businesses. I think it's important for any leader, really. I think whether you are managing a team in a large organization, whether you are managing your dog, whatever it is, don't be so hard on yourselves. Don't beat yourself up. This is all real and normal. Toni has gone through a journey. I've been through a journey. You talk to anybody who owns a business. Rock, I know you own your own video business and production business. I would venture to guess you've had moments like these as well. But you're Rock Grant. I mean, you're Rock. So he's solid as one.
He is. He totally is.
Yeah, he's good people.
He's my guy. That's what he did the video. He did an amazing job on that video. So
he did.
We got some great people rallied around, this whole thing, and I'm super proud of it.
Well, Toni, when you reach 100% on your Kickstarter, please let us know. I mean, I know I will know, but let us know because we'll share with everybody.
That'll be great. Hopefully we'll get there very soon.
Well, you're at 60 what percent?
I think the last time I checked, we were at 62%. So we're inching our way up there.
I love it. I would also just like to say that I was there when you got to 50. So.
Aw, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. So, 52%. Go check it out. Go check out myhypebook.com. You can access the Kickstarter there. You can which also includes the beautiful video that explains everything. You'll see all the different levels of participation and support that you can participate at. And one quick programming note is that tomorrow concludes our Small Business Week Facebook Live series. I know. We are going to wrap up with my good friend Toni Levine, who I'm not sure you've met, Toni Johnson Purry, but Toni Levine. Formerly of Big T's Toys, Mattel. He's a creative serial entrepreneur genius and love him for this as well. And, he has similar journeys, by the way.
Very good.
Similar, yeah. So we're going to talk about scaling businesses and how social did or did not impact his business as his previous businesses because they were born in a time when it didn't exist. And then how things changed.
Right.
As he was changing. And what else? And that will wrap up Small Business Week. You'll be able to find this video archived. We'll also have it on YouTube. So if you want to share it with anybody, and go ahead, if you're seeing this later and you have questions, go ahead, ask them. We'll answer away after the fact. And that is that for Thursday, my Hype Book Small Business Week. Finger snaps.
Thank you so much. This was great.
I'll see you soon in person.
Okay. You got it.
Bye, guys. Thanks.